All right, guys, Gemini back with another video. Hope you're all having a nice day. All right, so I've been seeing all this stuff on the WWE Raw low ratings, and they're setting historic, new lows. And I mean, quite frankly, you can kind of understand why with the product they're putting on. I mean, back in the day on Raw, there used to be unconventional stuff that would happen, and it's just basically just become a standardized format, match after match after match after match, with nothing really happening outside of the ring. I mean, back in the day when the ratings were really high, different stuff used to happen. Backstage segments and unexpected stuff would kind of take place. They've really gotten away from that. And their theory is we're just going to run 3 hours of nonstop matches and expect the fans to care. Professional wrestling has always been based around outside theatrics and antics. Like, for instance, I'll take you back to the NWA with Ric Flair and Dusty Rhodes. Yeah, their in-ring work was tremendous, and people want to see their in-ring work, but the Four Horsemen broke his arm in a parking lot at Turner Studios or Jim Crockett's office or whatever it was. I mean, I'm just saying that my point on that is pro wrestling has always had theatrics involved, outside stuff that's taken place. And now they've basically gotten completely away from that, and it's just match after match after match after match and nothing else really happening. And I think a lot of the fans just aren't invested in the current crop of pro wrestlers today. I think for me, if you tell me that the first hour of Raw is going to be, the first match is the New Day versus the Bar, the second match is a cruiserweight match, the third match is I'm trying to think who else is on the Braun Strowman versus Seth Rollins for the 87th time. I'm not going to watch the first hour. I kind of check like highlights like here and there to see if anything really cool happened. Like maybe an interview segment where a guy went off, or if they did anything backstage or anything like that. That's kind of like what I'm looking for these days when it comes to Monday Night Raw. But if you think I'm going to sit there for 3 hours and watch nothing but standardized half-assed matches, then you're wrong. And that's just my opinion. I literally, I haven't watched a full episode of Raw in probably a good year and a half. And the reason why is because they don't give me a reason to watch Raw. They don't give me a reason to watch every single match. They don't. I mean, literally, this is my thinking right now. If Monday Night Raw is head-to-head with a Golden State Warriors game, I'm going to watch the Warriors game. Think about it. Fast, exciting, drama. I mean, everything about it. I'm going to watch a Warriors game. Or if there's something else going on, if I'm in the mood for a movie that night, I'm going to watch a movie. It's like, I got to the point when I was watching Raw, and it was so angering to just be like, oh my God, what's the next match? Oh my God, please get these guys out of the ring. I got to the point where I just kind of stopped watching. I still check out the pay-per-views and stuff. None of them have been historic. For me, all their pay-per-views recently have been very mediocre. There hasn't been anything that has really stood out. I mean, everybody got all pumped up about the Daniel Bryan heel turn. I didn't really care. I didn't really think it fit his personality. I was kind of cool with AJ Styles as champion. My point being, for the last 4 minutes, is their show's become very boring. And I really don't think the internet has helped the cause and all this at all. I think a lot of people just check the internet. Oh, the show sucked. I don't need to see it. Back in the day, there was no internet, so everything had to be, you had to see it like firsthand to really know what's going on. You really got into it. Yeah, is WrestleMania this year going to sell all those tickets in New York? Sure, but it's the name that's selling. And if I remember last time they did WrestleMania in New York, what was it, 29? It was actually kind of a boring pay-per-view because it was just nothing really cool happening. And there's nothing really cool happening in WWE right now. There's nothing really like groundbreaking. Like, I want to be honest with you guys. This is the truth. 3 weeks ago, I went to an independent show. It was in a high school gym. I had so much fucking fun at this independent show. It was just, I had more fun at the independent show than I had watching any episode of Raw in months. And that's coming from me, someone who's been bashing the indies for a long time. Yeah, like I said, I went to an indie show. I had more fucking fun at that show than I had watching a Monday Night Raw in months. I mean, you could get right next to the wrestlers, give them high fives. They were cool as shit. You know, we took pictures with a couple of wrestlers. I tried to hand El Chupacabra, I tried to hand him some money, and he wouldn't take the money. He said, no, the picture's for free. It's just cool, man. They need to hit the reset button. I don't know. They need to do something. They're so scatterbrained right now, trying to conquer the world with all this UK stuff and doing all these shows in Saudi Arabia, and they're so preoccupied with their flagship show, Monday Night Raw, right now. I think it's really hard for them to concentrate on giving their fans a good product. I think they feel like it's good TV to have the New Day versus The Bar for the 87,000th time. Me, personally, I don't care who wins that match. And half these matches they put out there, I really don't care who wins. And that's the thing, is back in the day, you used to really care about wins and losses and who would win the match and who had a good match and what was really going on. And they've really lost their connection with the fans. They were connecting with the fans like really well for a while with NXT, but I think even that's cooled down. I think even the NXT buzz has cooled down. You know what? If they're going to go this direction and just run a subpar program, you might as well just put NXT on Monday nights and call it a day. If you're going to go full-fledged young guys, just stick to it. Get the old-timers out and just stick to it and just run your young guys and then see if any of them can develop into megastars. Go that direction. You know, try to change things up. And then see if you can catch a new audience. They need, like, new energy. You know, they need, like, a new format. I'm not talking about, like, the beginning of the show format where they, you know, change that part all the time. They need like, new. You know, they need to. I've been convinced for years that WWE has a playbook, and they go by it month by month, year by year, and do the same thing every month and every year. Like, for instance, I can tell you what's going to happen with Vince McMahon on Monday night. He comes in the ring, you know, he cuts his promo at the beginning of the show. He says, Baron Corbin's going to have a job evaluation, and, you know, by the end of the show, he'll wind up firing Corbin, and he'll announce the Royal Rumble, who's going to be number 1 and who's going to be number 30, and he'll announce the Women's Royal Rumble and shit like that. The same thing he does every time, but it's not going to be, like, groundbreaking, because every time a GM starts, they always blame the GM for the bad ratings and stuff, right? And they'll do the same thing with Corbin. Corbin will get fired or whatever, and then he'll come back 2 weeks later. That's another problem, too. When you fire someone and they come back 2 weeks later, it really loses the integrity behind it. And then the announcers are like, oh, he's fired, he's never coming back. But you know he's coming back in like 2 weeks because they're not going to cut Baron Corbin. You know, he's probably doing the whole GM thing because he has an injury or something. But just my point being, right now, if you're running Monday Night Raw, I hate to do this to SmackDown, but I would think maybe a good move would be to move Becky Lynch over to Raw and just let her go. Run the show around Becky Lynch and just let it go. Put the whole show around her. That's what they did with Austin. And, you know, I never thought I'd say this, like, that a woman is the most over person in the sport, but she's your franchise right now. You know, it's true. And people care about her. I would run, if I was WWE, I'd run most of the segments around her. I'd give her a promo at the beginning of the show, like 10, 15 minutes, and have her, you know, do some backstage stuff, you know, come out and wrestle in the main event. You know, I think right now that Becky Lynch is what the fans are into. I think they need to run the show around her. Just roll with it, because the WWE didn't create Becky Lynch. They didn't pick her to be a star. She was subpar. Wrestling in the middle of the show. The fans picked her to get over, and I think you run with it. I don't get the whole man thing. I'm like a little confused by the gimmick, but whatever. I mean, it's working. It worked for Punk. It worked for Bryan, and then it's working for her. Just put the show around her and try to clean up the mid-card, the first hour. Try to clean up some of the matches and put some energy back in WWE, because right now it's just completely lackluster, and a lot of people just don't care about any of it. Like for me, I check out the pay-per-views, but sitting through a 3-hour Raw, it's kind of painful right now, a little bit. Just some thoughts.